Okay, this is not an April Fool's joke here. In case you're clicking on and being like, Rick, this is an April Fool's joke. Okay, so any of you that were watching my live stream from yesterday, was it yesterday, I think? Sunday? I don't even know. Is today Tuesday? I have no idea. I went on my live stream on Sunday, and in the beginning of it, I was talking and addressing people, and then I went to another screen because I was it was a guitar live stream, and I was talking about my I have a sale out, my professional guitar collection sale, and I was like, okay, I got this all figured out. I'm just going to go to the other screen. I'm going to show people this thing, and then not realizing that as I'm reading it, what's up, Brett? As I'm reading it, that I've got my 4 courses on sale for $89. That my mic was muted. Okay, so I do that, and then all of a sudden I see all this stuff on the screen, and Aaron's calling me, and I was like, why is Aaron calling me right now? And then all of a sudden I look up at the screen, it's like, your mic's muted, and it was muted for like 2 minutes. So then I do my stream, then I'm like completely flustered because every time this happens, I hate that. And then I went and I tried to edit it out, and I screwed up the whole video, so I had to take it down. And then today, I had a great teaching video that I put up, like a guitar warm-up video that I put up a few hours ago. And I realized after I put it up, I started reading the comments, and I had a mistake in that. Like this whole section, I had a guitar grid, and everything was 1 fret off. And I took it down. I don't know what is wrong. I apologize for that. I hate that. I hate that. I can't put, it wasn't a thing where it's like, oh, it's got one little, bad note in it or whatever. But it's like, no, this whole thing, moving dots and everything was 1 fret off. And people are like, hey, at 228, everything is 1 fret off. And I was like, ah. Now, now, it may not seem like a big deal to you, but for me, I don't want to have stuff out there that has mistakes in it, right? I have teaching courses, and I'm very careful to make sure that these things don't have mistakes in them, that I sell to teach people how to play music. Aaron's pasting in our sale right there, professional guitar collection, 4 courses, $89, which is a great deal. It's my Quick Lessons Pro, my Beato Book Interactive, my Arpeggio course, and my ear training course. Okay, there's my plug. That's what I was trying to do when I screwed that up. But one of the things that I talked about in the live stream that was really important was the last video that I had, because there were some great comments in the comments section. And if you edit the video, the live stream, it removes the comments, and there's no point in having a live stream without your comments here, right? So people were made some really great points, and the comments about about my guidance counselor and not getting into school, that video really struck a nerve with people. It's a story that, is something that something I think about. It's amazing. It's 45 years ago, but it may as well be today. These same things, these same situations that people have this happens every day, and the comments are like, this happened to me last week, or this is some challenge that I overcame, and it's like the auditioning for college, or having bad grades, doing bad on the SATs, and then my mom, who was always, the teachers don't know how to teach you. You're smarter than the teachers. If it wasn't for my mom, it's not just my mom, my dad, in his own way, was also supportive. Never verbally supportive, but you knew that I knew that he supported me. But my guidance counselor, well, you're never going to get into school. You may as well go to trade school, and you can't go to college. And then everyone in the fall of my senior year, for those of you that didn't watch it, everybody's auditioning for colleges and stuff. And you don't have to go to college, obviously. This was a thing back in 1979, 1980. It was a big deal to go to college. My parents didn't go to college, and they wanted us all to go to college. Not all my siblings were able to go to college, but there I was with no idea of what I was going to do with my life. The whole fall semester passed, then we're in the spring, and if it wasn't for people in the music hall where, I took orchestra, saying that they were auditioning for school for music, because I didn't think, I want to go to school for music. Honestly, I didn't even think of that. I didn't say to my guidance counselor, oh, well, I want to go to school for music, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just like any other senior in high school. My son Dylan is a junior, and he doesn't know what he wants to do. He and I are going to California next week I'm doing some interviews out there, and we're going to go. We might go look at a couple colleges. I don't know, but we're going to go out there together. It's nothing I could ever do with my dad. My dad never flew on a plane. Neither did my mom. Never. Jerry says, loving it, Rick. I'm former principal, not college administrator. Students need to know the opportunities and who is there to help them see them. Thank you, Jerry. Exactly. And, in my story, my guidance counselor, Mr. Kroll, I wasn't mad at him. I just, he looked at this thing. Okay, your GPA is 1.8. Your SATs are 880. You can't get into college. You're in there were these things called non-regents classes. You had honors classes, which I guess today would be AP. Then you had your regular thing, and you get a regents diploma in New York State. Then you have non-regents. That means my grades weren't good enough to even get in the regents classes. So I took all lower level classes, all of them. So you get a you get a non-regents diploma. So on top of it all, it's just that, okay, well, you're a non-regent student. You have all the low test scores. Okay, you have one choice. Go and get a job. Go learn a trade. And then I go and I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn this audition stuff. I'm going to go to school for music, and then I don't get into either music school. Why? Because I didn't pass the audition, because I didn't follow the directions. You need to play pieces from 3 different style periods. Okay, and my guitar teacher didn't know anything about teaching classical guitar. He didn't know about style periods. He showed me some simple Mel Bay things that I played, and they weren't the right arrangements, and I didn't know the Segovia scale fingerings, and I didn't get in because I couldn't fit in that same thing. It's like taking tests I couldn't do, or I didn't have the information available to me. Yet my abilities, if you could test for aptitude for music, I would be, I don't mean this egotistically, but I would be off the charts with aptitude for music. I have very high aptitude for music, but that's not what they were testing for. They were like, can you play these particular pieces? Can you play these scale fingerings? And when they said, can you play the Segovia scales? I was like, I don't even know what that is. And in my first audition, it was for a violin professor, because the guitar professor wasn't even there, and he was just recording it on reel to reel. I didn't mention that in the thing. I said, you know, I don't even know what the Segovia scales are. He goes, I think there are 3-octave major and minor scales. I said, well, I can do those. He goes, well, play G major. And I play it, but it was being recorded. And he didn't know if I was playing him right or wrong either. Anyways, it was all, you know. And then a freshman guitar player taught me the pieces to re-audition Ithaca. I got in, and then 6 years later, I was teaching there. Okay, that was the story of it. I went to undergrad, I went to grad school, and I got a teaching job, teaching in the same office that I got rejected in 6 years before. Now, if it wasn't for my mom, I started getting that Rick doesn't work up to ability. I have my report cards from it started happening in second and third grade, fourth grade. Started getting those things and everything. And it was really that I had a reading disability. I think I had, you know, ADD, ADHD, whatever it is. I couldn't concentrate on things like that. But the other thing that I had, and I'll credit my dad with this, is social intelligence. I don't even know if that's a thing. I'll tell this story. I always tell my friends I'm going to threaten to tell this story. It's a funny story. I always think it's a funny story, but when I was 11, summer before sixth grade, my dad was like, "Hey, first day of summer." My dad's like, night before, "Hey, get your golf clubs and put them in my truck." I was like, "What do you mean? What are we doing?" "Never mind, what are we doing?" My dad was very gruff, greatest guy in the world, man of very little, man of few words. He'd be 106 years old if he were alive today. My dad, Mike Beato, incredible, one of the greatest human beings in the world. But put your golf clubs in the truck. Okay. Put my golf clubs in his Penn Central railroad truck. He worked for the railroad. He worked 40 minutes away from our house in a railroad yard that he ran. So 6 o'clock the next morning. Okay, get up. What's going on? What's going on? Never mind. We're leaving now. Okay. What are we doing? Never mind. What are we doing? That's my dad. So we get in the truck, we start driving, he's got the AM radio on. My dad doesn't say a word the whole time. He just never talked. He's a quiet guy. And listen to jazz, and I don't say anything. I'm just looking out the window, riding in the truck. The truck had these railroad wheels on it because he would go and inspect the tracks, and he would drive down the tracks, and these things would come down, and he would drive his truck with these wheels that went on the train tracks, and he would drive along. I don't know if any of you ever seen this. It's like very old school. It's back in the 60s, 70s, whatever. Whenever it was. No, 73 when I was 11. So anyways, we get down to this convenience store, and he goes in and he gets me a couple glazed donuts or whatever, and a little carton of milk, and brings it back in. He hands them to me. So we go into his office. I'd never been there before. It was just this little one-room office in this huge railroad yard. There was like 6 sets of tracks that came in. There were trains going by. All these workers were out there, these hardcore railroad workers and everything. And my dad ran the railroad yard. Okay, he was the supervisor. So he goes into this office. I'm looking at this place. I'm like, whoa. And it had a bathroom and just this, like a little hut with all the railroad yard out in Lyons, New York. So he goes in and sits down behind his desk. I have no idea why we have the golf clubs. He sits down behind his desk and he starts making phone calls. Yeah, hey, did you do that thing? And he starts yelling at people. And I'm laughing. My dad's yelling at people on the phone. It's like he doesn't just yell at us. He yells at everybody. This is amazing. It was hilarious. So I'm sitting there and everything. And after about 30 minutes, he's like, all right, come on, let's go. So we get in the car and we drive like 5 minutes from the railroad yard to this place, Wayne Hills. Wayne Hills was a golf course in Lyons, New York. Really nice golf course, right? And it was at 1 mile from there. My dad used to play there, and my dad was an excellent golfer. His best friend in 1950, Sam Rosetta, won the U.S. Amateur. So his best friend growing up was one of the best golfers. It's amazing. He was a golf pro. Anyways, so my dad, get your clubs, put them out here. We go in the pro shop, and he introduced me to the guy behind the counter. It's my son Rick. He's going to be playing golf here every day this summer. So I'm like, that's what I'm going to be doing? Okay. He buys some golf balls, gives me like 6 golf balls and some tees. Here, put those in your bag. Then he comes in and he walks me over to the restaurant. Introduced me to the guy. Hey, Al, this is my son Rick. He's going to be coming in here eating lunch every day. And he gives me $5. He goes, here, this is for lunch. You come in, you order yourself a sandwich and something to drink. I'm like, okay. Then we walk over to the first tee and he goes to the starter. Yes, my son Rick. He's going to be playing golf here every day. And I'm like, okay. And so he says to me, look, when a twosome or threesome comes up, you say, do you mind if I play along? Okay. And if they say yes, then you go with them and you play. And he talks to the starter. The starter's like, okay. And he goes, as soon as you go play one round, go in, get yourself something to eat, and then come back out and do it again. And I'll meet you back here at 4:00. I'm like, okay. So I get on there. First people come up. Hey, you guys mind if I play along? It'd be married couples that were old. They'd be smoking, all these old people, all different age people, playing during the week and talking about World War II, talking about Vietnam, whatever. Drinking on the course, everything. Smoking cigarettes all the time. And do you mind if I play along? I'm 11 years old, right? You can't even imagine this. Right? And so I heard the most fascinating stories. I talked to all these people. These are people in upstate New York that lived out in the, rural area of New York State. And I played 2 rounds of golf every day that summer. So I'm walking probably, I don't know, how many miles are 2 rounds of golf? Like 36 holes a day? And a lot. It was a long course. It was a really long course. And every day at 4:00, my dad would be there in the putting green. That's where I met him. And then we get in the truck and we drive home. He'd listen to music and he wouldn't say anything. And I learned more that summer than I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to listen. 8 miles. Thank you, Ian. I learned how to listen. I learned how to listen to stories. And that was just as important as my mom telling me that the teachers didn't know how to teach you. And I never forgot that. He didn't do this with any of my other siblings. I have 6 other siblings. He didn't make any of them play golf. We all laugh about it, my siblings and I, like, why did he make me do that? And the only thing that we could figure out is that I used to talk so much that I drove my mom nuts. And his idea of getting me out of the house all summer, because my parents didn't have any resources to do anything like that, was to get me. I'll take him to the golf course. I'll take him to work with me every day and have him go play on the golf course. We'll walk it off, and he can talk to strangers. And I did. And that was incredibly valuable. I I can remember it like it was yesterday. I have a friend, one of my oldest friends, Keith Williams. He has a channel called 5 Watt World. I'm sure some of you know him. There's my cousin Tom on there, my first cousin. Our parents had so much wisdom, but sometimes we were just 10 feet tall and bulletproof as teens. That's true. Um, Tom's dad, my Uncle Frank, was one of the greatest human beings, also a teacher. Um, so, this, these stories of of upstate New York, and the lessons that the people. My mom worked at the American Can Company. She worked on factory, worked on lines in a like 120 dB noisy factory that made 1 million cans a day. They made Coke cans, Pepsi cans, Jenny beer, anything that came in a can. They made it at the American Can Company. They ran 24/7. They ran these lines, and my mom would be in there. Sometimes I'd bring her food to work. She'd eat it. She worked the second shift, 4:30 p.m. to 12:30 at night. She would come home and she would eat dinner at 1 in the morning, and then she would get up with us in the morning. And my dad would take off take off for work at whatever 6:30, and it was just it's amazing. The fact that I was able to go to college was unbelievable to them. Now, my dad probably would have liked me getting better grades, but my mom always hid my report cards from him. Literally, every 10 weeks we got a report card. There were 4, where I went, Fairport, there were 4 marking periods, and my dad would never think, with all these kids, he would forget about stuff. So it'd be like March, and he would say, "Hey, Rick, did you ever get a report card this year?" Yeah, I don't know where they are. Mom has them somewhere. And then he would look at it, and he'd see I got a 38 in algebra, and then I got a 42 the next next thing. And then he made my brother Lou teach me so I could pass algebra. My brother Lou, who has his master's in electrical engineering and he just retired. He worked at Kodak for 35 years, but he just retired. He was a college professor after that. He taught computer engineering. And he made my dad made him tutor me for the algebra final. I needed to get 100 to pass for the year because they added them together, the 4 marking periods, and then the final counted together. I think I needed 98 to get it. And my brother Lou would get so frustrated. He was the worst teacher. And he'd say, "I can't teach him. He's so stupid." And we laugh about it to this day. And, my parents were amazing. My mom would be 100 this year if she were alive. And I think about them every day still. They were incredible, incredible people. It's, I talk to my siblings. I talk to all my 6 other siblings at least once a week. My sisters I talk to all the time, almost every day. My 2 oldest sisters. We are super tight Italian family. And growing up in upstate New York and Fairport, man, that's one of the reasons when I started this channel. I was like, I had those bad grades in high school. I was telling my kids, but I'm on the Fairport Wall of Fame at the high school, right? With my 1.8 GPA and my 880 on the SATs. And at the time, some people were like, SATs, they changed it to go to 2,400. No, it was 1,600 at the time when I took them. And I said to my kids, I was like, well, the valedictorian's not on the Wall of Fame. So, Helium Road saying this morning's video had a mistake. No, this morning's video had a whole thing in the key of E that it was written in E flat, that the guitar grid was 1 fret off, and I didn't catch it. And I took the video down. I can't put out a teaching video. Honestly, I thought the video was a great video because of the stuff that I had in it. And the same thing where I was talking about, I made a mistake in the last video. So I've taken down 2 videos in a row. The last video, I had my mic muted and I cut the piece out. It was my live stream, and it took the chat away, the chat that you guys are typing in now. And there's no point of having a live stream without a chat. So I was doing a guitar. I was like, because I always do my live streams, or always teaching live streams, because I don't feel like I want my channel to still be a music teaching channel. Even if I talk about, whatever, song breakdowns, anything like that, opinion pieces, whatever types of videos I'm making, interviews, I still want to have the thing of actually teaching music. So I save it for my live streams to do this. Okay. My courses are the things that I've built to sell people. Aaron just posted in there my professional guitar collection. I've got 4 courses in there. It's 80% off. It's $89. It goes till Friday night. This is my plug. It's got my Arpeggio Masterclass, my Beato Interactive, my Beato Book Interactive, which is has a 500-page PDF with it and tons of audio examples. My ear training course, which has hundreds of interactive training modules, train your ear to hear, to learn relative pitch, and my Quick Lessons Pro, which is more of like an intermediate guitar course. That's got 5 hours of video content. So this is a ridiculously good deal. If I do say so myself, $89. It's like, $25 a course. No, I'd say I'm bad in math still. It's less than that. But I saw them together. They kind of are interdependent. The ear training and the theory stuff is all this, they're really interdependent. So that's why you have to learn these things, and it's really important. Maddie K says, I have the sacred role of passing on the best regards for Bill Tiberio, who's one of my best friends of all time, and all the amazing Fairport musicians. Go Wegmans! Any of you that are from Rochester, Wegmans, or upstate New York. Bill Tiberio is one of my closest friends. We were roommates in college. I spent so much time at his house. Bill's not only an amazing musician, but he teaches band and jazz ensemble at our old high school, at Fairport High School, where he's been teaching there for about 40 years. So Ralph Towner interview at some point. Ralph lives in Italy. And I pretty much only do my things in person. My cousin Tom said my courses are amazing. So does Don. The Beato book is incredible. Thank you, both of you. My cousin Tom, I appreciate it, Tom. You're awesome. First time I was ever in a recording studio was with my cousin Tom. He was a recording engineer at Fredonia a year ahead of me when I went there for one semester. And Tom, for one of his class projects, had me record. I brought in my guitar and I overdubbed multiple guitar parts and a bass part. I still have it somewhere, Tom. That was incredible. They had a 16-track. Running Bear. Watch this morning if you could read my mind. What a genius Gordon Lightfoot is. Oh, man. The best. Gordon. Unbelievable. And So Tom was the first time I was in a recording studio. But my first recording, and I'm going to make a video about this, the first record I was on, I found it. And I just got my turntable fixed again. And I found the record, and my picture's in the record. 1978's the first record I was on. Literally. Ricky V says here, this is hilarious. Rick at 11 talking to strangers all day, all summer. The life lesson from a dad who doesn't talk. I know, right? It's crazy. My dad didn't talk about, my mom would talk to anyone. Oh my God. I'm exactly like my mom. My mom would strike up a conversation with anyone, anywhere. We'd be at the store, where we'd be in the grocery store, wherever. My mom would talk to people. She knew everyone, everywhere. Any place we ever went, my mom knew everybody by name. That's where that's where I get it from. Definitely. So that's my story today. I'm sorry about the, wait, I have a question here. Is your course book, my course book, for intermediate and professional guitarists only? PAS. No, my courses are not for professionals or guitarists only. They're actually, like my Beato Interactive theory course it's for beginners. It starts. Now, it's got tons of theory in it. Some people are like, oh man, it starts so simple and then it gets really complex. Well, it's got a 500-page PDF in it and tons of video course things. And and my ear training starts out with just matching pitch, the most basic stuff. So they start out as beginner courses, and they just go through a lot. I took guitar lessons, Hollister says, few months, but wasn't catching on, frustrated. Which item from your collection would you recommend I start with? Hollister. I would probably start, me personally, I would probably start with my ear training course, because that's the basis of everything. Having a good ear is really the basis of it's the basis of everything. Being able to figure out things by ear and not having to rely on reading tabs or something like that. My son Dylan and one of his buddies were learning this Unquitty Road, this Pat Metheny tune that I made a video about recently. And the thing about it is that there's no tutorials on it. None. Especially Jocko's bass part. Jaco Pastorius plays it on there. There's people on there that are playing it on YouTube that play it wrong. Okay, so they have to, they had to figure it out together. And it's not, the guitar part, Dylan can hear it, the bass part it's kind of panned over to one side. It's on Bright Size Life. It's tough. And Jocko plays some really incredible licks. Man, does Dylan teach the ear training course? Dylan doesn't need the ear training course. Jeff, I'm a Beato Book advocate. I use it a lot. Sometimes I have an idea for something and I think, check the Beato Book. Boom. Awesome. Thanks. Appreciate it, sir. All right. So you guys are the best. Sorry about the screw ups. I'll get that video repaired and put it back up. I just couldn't do it. I didn't have the gusto to do it today. So I'll put it back up there. You guys are the best. All right. Well, listen, have a great rest of your night and we'll talk. Take care.